Bonjour!
Bonjour everyone, Pantoufleee here today for a new video in which we have the pleasure of watching Monsieur Acula, because he's French, so I'm gonna pronounce it the French way. He's playing in his ISU 130, and this game is gonna show you that sometimes all you need is DPM. Why? Why am I talking about DPM especially? Simply because with the ISU 130, it's one of the few tanks in this game that have some kind of a special munition, let's say it like this. Most of the time, when you're using a gold shell on any tanks in this game, you will increase your penetration, but you will decrease your alpha damage. For example, if we take an object 140, you have with your AP 310 alpha damage for around 250 millimeters of raw penetration, whereas if you use your heat shell or gold shell, you will have 310 or 330 millimeters of penetration for 280 alpha damage. That's pretty much how gold shells are working in this game, but there are a few exceptions, ISU 130 included, where your gold shell are gonna have a lower penetration but a way better alpha damage. And that's the case of this tank, because with your ISU 130, when you use it with your gold shell, you will have 530 alpha damage every time you shoot, for a total of 185 millimeters of penetration, if I'm not mistaken. Of course, with this tank, using calibrated shell could be a really good idea, simply because it will increase your gold penetration and allow you to do as much damage as possible. And so, when you are playing with these kind of tanks, the kind of tanks that can literally destroy everything in 3 shots only, trust me, you're gonna have a lot of fun, as long as you're not spotted, because that's the problem of the ISU 130. You definitely don't have the best armor ever. For the moment, it's not a problem for Acula, simply because, as you can see, he's trying to take not necessarily an advanced position, but I don't feel like he's really camping here. He's not really camping, he's taking advantage of the opponents and of the spotting range of his team. And I would have done the same, to be fair with you. Now, maybe he should move, and I think that's what he's gonna do. And what is really crazy is, just take a look at the damage or assisting damage this guy got. 1.5k assisting damage in the ISU 130. I literally don't have a clue how it's possible for him to have such high assisting damage, because if I remember correctly, he spotted the RU 251, but he was the only one shooting at him. So yeah, maybe he's playing with an observation device or something like this on his tank. I don't know, I'm not able to see his equipment while reviewing the battle, but that's quite interesting that he managed to pull out 1.5k assisting damage. Now, I wanted to show you this replay as well, because this player is not camping. Literally, he's taking advantage of the spotting range of his team, but he's definitely not camping, because if he was camping, he would still be sitting at the spawn on the hill, you know, the traditional way everybody takes. And it's not necessarily something that is gonna allow you to get good stats or even good damage per shot, good damage per battle, sorry. There we go. Unfortunately for him, he tried an HE on the AMX-50, but it didn't work, and in the end he took way too many shots from that guy. That's one of the few mistakes he did in this replay. You should have just gone for a shot on the AMX-50 100 and straight away hide yourself to avoid getting your hit point completely annihilated. Now it's too late to think about this. It's gonna change a little bit his playstyle, because now he has to play carefully. He's a one shot for literally everything in front of him, Karen of an Action 10 included, so it's time for him to be careful about what he's doing. Now, waiting for him to do something, I want to talk about one last thing concerning the ISU 130. One of the main thing about this tank is probably that a lot of people are complaining, if we want to make it effective, we need to play full gold, gold is expensive, blah blah blah. Honestly, with the ISU 130, if you manage to penetrate all your shells, or at least, let's say, 2/3 of your gold shells, you will do a lot of credits. And that's something people need to put in mind when you're playing with this tank. If you want to use an ISU 130 only for its regular shell and not gold shell, don't buy it. Just go for a regular ISU 152, or even go one tier lower, playing with the ISU 122S, or if you want the equivalent in the tech tree, in the tech tree, just play the SU 152 with the last gun. Now, when you're playing with this tank, it's to be full gold only, and that's something our friend there is doing, and that's lovely to watch, simply because it's quite insane to see the number of damage you can get, and you don't even see them climb when you're playing when you're playing your battle, because you have 530 alpha damage every 8 seconds, or 8.8 seconds if you are using calibrated shell, and that's something really, really wild about that tank. It's literally insane to see. I mean, in 15 seconds, no, a little bit more, in 18 seconds, you deal more than 1k damage if you manage to penetrate all your gold shell. And that's why DPM makes this tank a real beast. I think it's among the best DPMs at tier 10 if you play with gold shells only. And not at tier 10, at tier 8, sorry. Now, there is only one guy waiting for him to die. We don't really know where the Yak Tiger is. I mean, he's at the top of the hill, but we don't know if he's gonna come back on the ICU-130 trying to get some shots or not. And now he's spotted by the ICE-3, but it seems like the Yak Tiger is facing the ICE-3, and that's the case because the guy managed to shoot some on the ICE-3. So our friend Aquila just has to push straight in, try to take the Yak Tiger from the back. It's a turretless tank destroyer, so if he managed to make it to his back, it shouldn't be a problem for him to farm all the damages. I want to remind you one last thing, as the Yak Tiger has a null down position against the ICE-3, and the ICE-3 doesn't seem to be the brightest player ever trying, I don't know what the ICE-3 is trying against the Yak Tiger, to be fair, but the Yak Tiger is probably not going to move out of the way, and he's going to try to focus on the ICE-3, which leaves a free field for Aquila to literally destroy that guy from the back. Look at how many shells he shot with its gold shell. I want to remind you, he started with 14 or 12. I didn't catch up real quick, but that's insane. Starting a game with that much gold shell and finishing it off with literally no gold shell left is quite insane, and it led him to one of the greatest games I ever saw in the ICU-130, because he pulled out a 6.6k damage game, which is something that will allow you in tier 10 to get an ace tanker as well. So yeah, a couple of medals as we could expect, and I want to show you one thing. Look at the total credits. He missed a lot of gold shots, and even by losing or missing those shots, he still did quite an insane amount of credits. Of course, he didn't do as much as if he did not miss those gold shells, but if you take a look at the credit part, you don't lose that much ammunition, let's be honest. Okay, he lost 60,000 credits on this one, but I want to remind you, he played full gold, and for someone that played full gold, especially with the tank destroyer, it's not that expensive. That's why if you want to get yourself an ICU-130, you definitely need to play it full gold. And now to show you what I meant by gold shell having more alpha damage and less penetration, let me show you the tank in the garage real quick before ending this video. As you can see in the armor person section, the regular shell, not regular gold shell, doesn't mean anything, but the regular shell have between 345 to 575 alpha damage, whereas when you play with your second type of shell, it's between 398 and 663. Therefore, when you're playing with this tank, trust me, you want to play it full gold to make it enjoyable. Hope you enjoyed that little replay, aka / commentary. If that's the case, feel free to subscribe, like, and share, and I'm gonna see you soon for a new video and streams that are gonna come back soon after this week, because right now I'm in the middle of exams and I don't have that much time to play. Thank you all for joining, and see you soon.